Dante's Purgatorio, Canto 1. The shores of Purgatory, the four stars, Cato of Utica, and the rush. To roar better waters hoist its sail, the little vessel of my genius now, that leaves behind itself a sea so cruel. And of that second kingdom will I sing, wherein the human spirit doth purge itself, and to ascend to heaven becometh worthy. But let dead poesy here rise again, O holy muses, since that I am yours, and here Calliope somewhat ascend. My song accompanied with what sound of which the miserable magpies felt the blow so great that they despaired of pardon. Sweet color of the oriental sapphire that was upgathered in the cloudless aspect of the pure air as far as the first circle. Unto my eyes did recommence delight soon as I issued forth from the dead air, which had with sadness filled mine eyes and breast. The beauteous planet, that to love in sights was making all the Orient to laugh, veiling the fishes that were in her escort. To the right hand I turned and fixed my mind upon the other pole and saw four stars ne'er seen before save by the primal people. Rejoicing in their flamelets seemed the heaven, and though septennial and widowed sight, because thou art deprived of seeing these. When from regarding them I had withdrawn, turning a little to the other pole, there, where the wain had disappeared already, I saw beside me an old man alone, worthy of so much reverence in his look, that more owes not to father any son. A long beard and with white hair intermingled he wore, in semblance like unto the tresses, of which a double lys fell on his breast. The rays of the four consecrated stars did so adorn his countenance with light, that him I saw as were the sun before him. Who are you, ye who counter the blind river, have fled away from the eternal prison? Moving those venerable plumes, he said, Who guided you? Or who has been your lamp in issuing forth out of the night profound that ever black makes the infernal valley? The laws of the abyss, are they thus broken? Or is there changed in heaven some counsel new, that being damned ye come unto my crags? Then did my later leg grasp upon me, and with his words and with his hands and signs reverent he made in me my knees and brow, then answered him, I came not of myself. A lady from heaven descended, at whose prayers I aided this one with my company. But since it is thy will more be unfolded of our condition, how it truly is, mine cannot be that this should be denied thee. This one has never lost his last evening scene, but by his folly was so near to it that very little time was there to turn. As I have said, I unto him was sent to rescue him, and other way was none than this to which I have myself betaken. I have shown him all the people of perdition, and now those spirits I intend to show who purge themselves beneath thy guardianship. How I have brought him would be long to tell thee. Virtue descendeth from on high that aids me to lead him to behold thee and to hear thee. Now may it please thee to vouchsafe his coming. He seeketh liberty, which is so dear, as knoweth he who life for her refuses. Thou knowest it, since for her, to thee not bitter was death in Utica, where thou didst leave thy vesture that will shine so the great day. By us the eternal edicts are not broken, since this one lives, and Minos binds not me. But of that circle eye, where are the chaste? Eyes of the Marcia, who in looks still praise thee, O holy breast, to hold her as thine own. For her love, then, incline thyself to us. Permit us, through thy sevenfold realm to go. I will take back this grace from thee to her, if to be mentioned there below thou deignest. Marcia, so pleasing was unto my eyes, while I was on the other side, then said he, that every grace she wished of me I granted. Now that she dwells beyond the evil river, she can no longer move me by the law which, when I issued forth from there was made. But if the Lady of Heaven do move and rule thee, as thou dost say, no flattery is needful. Let it suffice thee that for that her thou ask me. Go then, and see thou good this one about with a smooth rush, and that thou wash his face, so that thou cleanse away all stain therefrom. For 'twere not fitting that the eye o'ercast by any mist should go before the first angel, who is of those of paradise. This little island round about its base below there yonder, where the billow beats it, doth rushes bear upon its washy ooze. No other plant that putteth forth the leaf, or that doth endure it, that can there have life, because it yieldeth not unto the shocks. Thereafter be not this way your return. The sun, which is now is rising, will direct you to take the mount by easier ascent. With this he vanished, and I raised me up without a word, and wholly drew myself unto my guide, and turned my eyes to him, and he began, Sun, follow thou my steps, let us turn back, for on this side declines the plain unto its lower boundaries. The dawn was vanquishing the matin hour, which fled before it, so that from afar I recognized the trembling of the sea. Along the solitary plain we went, as one who unto the lost load returns, until he finds it seems to go in vain. As soon as we were come to where the dew fights with the sun, and being in a part where the shadow falls, little evaporates, both of his hands upon the grass outspread in gentle manner did my master place, whence I, who of his action was aware, extended unto him my tearful cheeks. There did he make in me uncovered wholly that hue which hell had covered up in me. Then came we down upon the desert shore, which never yet saw navigate its waters, and that afterwards had known no return. There he begirt me as the other pleased. O marvellous, for even as he culled the humble plant, such it sprang up again, suddenly there where he uprooted it. So the beginning of Dante's Purgatorio, it's been a while since I did the Inferno. A few interesting notes. First of all, we're not actually in Purgatory yet. We're going into Purgatory. Be several cantos before we enter Purgatory proper. But here we have Dante with this breath of fresh air, having escaped the suffocating nature of hell and just being glad to be opened back up into earth again, and to realize that he's going into Purgatory. Who but guards Purgatory, but Utica, which in ancient times was regarded as the height of the model of virtue, of the four cardinal or earthly virtues. And that's very important to note here. He stands at the base of Purgatory but cannot enter it. Why? If he mastered the four virtues, or at least became proficient in them, well, as many commentaries, especially Dorothy Sayers, will go on to say, he lacks the exuberance, the energy, the joyfulness that you're going to see of all of the members of Purgatory. There's a hopefulness and energy, a force going forward, because in Catholic teaching, of course, Purgatory is within the scope of heaven. One does not go to Purgatory and will not go to heaven. So it's very important here. This is Dante telling us this is as far as earthly virtue takes us. The four cardinal virtues can lead us to a perfect human life, a well-lived life, as Aristotle or Plato might say. But it can't take us any further. Grace takes us the rest of the way. This combats the heresies of Pelagianism and others that think that we can climb our way ourselves into heaven. And Utica stands right here to tell us no. This is Dante's theological stance. Utica and no further. Second of note is the reeds that he has tied around his belt, that Virgil ties around Dante's belt. First of all, a reed, a sign of humility. But then Dante begins to lose himself. He begins to cry and weep. And Virgil assuages him from those tears to dry them up. And that's beautiful again, following so many of the church fathers and the Christian teachers over the centuries. We should not be sad. You can't be sad going even into purgatory on your way into heaven. Sadness is still holding on to something from the past. It's still holding on to your sorrows. It's still not forgiving yourselves. You cannot begin this hard work, Dante says, until you're willing to let go of everything, including the sadness. Wipe away your tears, for work is about to begin.